Hello and welcome to Vent Sesh. I am Jared Freed. I am new to the YouTube scene, but I'm very excited to be here. We are going tonight on Vent Sesh. The plan is to bring on real people, real problems, and let's talk them out. What do I know? I don't know much. All I'm going to be is a listening ear and an honest voice for these people and try and help them through whatever they're going through. If you're not familiar, I host a podcast called the J Train Podcast. I also host another podcast called the U Up Podcast. And on those podcasts, people send in their emails, and my guests and I on J Train and my co-host Jordana Abraham on YouTube, on U Up, we give advice. We try to figure it out. A lot of the questions are about dating and relationships. So you're wondering, like, Jared, what the fuck do you know about dating relationships? I don't know. I don't know much. I'm talking about my ass a lot of times. But here's the reality. I'm a very average dude. I'm in the middle of the bell curve. So for a lot of these people, and it's a lot of women that write into my show, I become kind of like, I'm at least 10% away from the guy they're dating. So a lot of this stuff comes from a place that might sound icky. I'm going to let you know right now. It might sound a little bit that. You might look at me and go, Jared, do people really think that? And let me give you an emphatic yes. Yes. Let's start the show. Let's go to our first guest. Let's hit it. Hello.
Hey.
How are you? What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? This is and I'm letting people know this is the first time we've met, right?
Yeah, this is the first time we've met.
What's your name?
Well, I feel like I know you because I listen to you so much.
Well, thank you.
My name's Sarah. I'm from Teaneck, New Jersey.
Welcome, Sarah from Teaneck. What do you do for work? Are you in school? What's going on with you?
I work in brand management.
Brand? What is that? Seems like a vague title that someone would tell their mom when they don't really have a job.
Well, you do a lot of different.
Vague because you don't want to like get in trouble. I also don't want to get you in any.
No, you won't get me in trouble. No, it's a form of marketing with different like consumer product brands, and working on the marketing department, kind of just moving the wheel around and making sure everything's You
just got more vague than you were before. I feel like I'm talking to I'm at the bar on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving when someone's like, yeah, I consult and I do brand management and marketing and the invoices and X-voices and outbox. But Sarah, what's your issue today? What's going on?
So my issue is guys and their height on dating apps.
Let me stop you for a second. Guys and their heights on Instagram. Or on dating apps.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
On Instagram.
Well, Instagram too. If you could put your height on Instagram, the guys would be lying about it there too. So
true.
so here's the thing about the height on dating apps is, and let me just give the broader picture for the people watching. And if you're watching on YouTube, there's a Zoom link in the description. If you want to be a part of the show, you can click the Zoom link and you can be on the show just like Sarah is now. So any of your questions. But here's the thing. 5'8" on the dating app seems to be the line of demarcation. If you're below 5'8", you're lying. If you're above 5'8", you're telling the world about it. I personally, when I was on dating apps, and I've said this on the podcast before, so sorry for repeating myself, Sarah, if you've heard this, I'm 5'8 and a half. So I'm just above, like I can get onto the carnival ride of fucking on dating apps. Like that was like, I feel very lucky. Right. But if I had written in my bio 5'8 and a half, I would look like a fucking, self-conscious asshole. So I'm just saying, from the guy's POV, the height thing is a thing, and I know it is for women too. So what's the deal? What are you seeing out there, Sarah?
So I see a lot of guys don't put their height, and one of the most recent things that happened, I'm 6 feet tall, and I know you spoke to Carmen Lynch about this a little bit on her when you had her on the podcast recently.
Yes.
So I have 6 feet as my height because that's the truth. And a guy, I matched with him. I started talking to him. He's like, "Are you really 6 feet?" And my friend,
we're already on. Why would you lie? This guy's already fucking himself over. So Let me ask you a question. what do you prefer? What is your preference?
Tall guys.
So you want a tall guy. You want a guy that's above 6 feet.
6 feet, a real 6 feet, not 5'11", 6 feet. So, but then my friend took my phone.
What about 5'11" with like lifts in his shoes? I have one leg that's an inch and a half long of the other. You can get lifts. I used to in middle school. I had lifts in my shoes, so you can like do you want to be like are you wearing heels? Like, do you want to be taller than the guy in heels or not?
So I have like it depends on like what the event is, but like I've gone to weddings in 4-inch heels, and some guys who are like 5'9", 5'10", they're like, "Why are you wearing heels?" I'm like, "Is there a rule that I can't?"
No, that's crazy.
I'm like, I'm gonna wear heels because we're at a wedding. Like, yeah. I'm gonna do whatever I want. Like, sorry for your genetic like misery. You're not tall.
Well, my question I'm not asking about the guys. I understand, like, for a guy to say that to you is like actually kind of, it's crazy because he's with you, going with you to the wedding.
Right.
What in your perfect world, how tall is your guy?
Like 6'4", 6'5".
That's okay. That's I think that's where this starts. In your perfect world, if you're on a dating app, where a dating app is a gross place. You're legitimately looking at a face and going, ew, yes, ew, I'll take. And it's like kind of narcissistic because you're like, oh, when you swipe right, you're like, I do you. Like, it's not, you're not thinking like as if they have no choice in the matter, you know? So,
well, like when I walk into like a wedding or a bar or anything, literally the first thing I do is scan the top of the room because I'm like, if I could see their faces or the top of their heads, like we could have a conversation.
Just searching the treetops.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly. But like the other thing is that like my friend wrote back to this guy because she took my phone and was like, yeah, I am 6 feet. Only guys lie about their height. But like, I don't want to come off as like such a bitch and like not really, I feel bad bruising their ego because I know it's hard for guys being that short or not tall enough.
I get it. So your question is, how do I not come off that way?
Right.
See, my answer to that is I love that you put it in the bio. Like to me, putting I'm 6 feet, I'm a 6 foot woman in the bio is like, beware of the dog. Like you're saying this is what I am. And I think like when you see someone like I wouldn't care if I were you. Like, cause the guy, like to me, the guy who asks, are you really 6 feet? I'm unmatching right away. He's already shown that he's not going to do well in this situation. And like, to me, I do believe like everyone is someone's type, you know, like everyone is like out there for someone. So like, there's a guy who's 5'8", who's like literally swiping for a 6 foot woman. Like he's like, please God.
A guy did that. He said that to me on Hinge. He's like, I like made some comment. I'm like, you know, you're shorter than me, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, why can't we go out and like have a good time and see what happens? I'm like, because you're shorter than me. It's just going to be awkward.
Well, I mean, it's the thing is,
it's a comfort.
That's where I come back to you because I can't speak to that guy. That guy, obviously, that's his. He's into that. That's which is great. He thinks you're beautiful. He's talking to you. He wants to go out with you. All that stuff. But to you, I'd say you're not attracted to him.
No.
Like why even talk to this munchkin? Why even talk to the Keebler elf? Why are we like to me like I would be if I'm you, I would own it more. Like I think like I would stop caring. I can't tell you how to feel. Like it's hard to stop caring, but like I would be like the idea of like I don't want to be a bitch. You don't have to be a bitch if you're on the same same page as the person. Like the only time to be a bitch is to go, yes, I'm really 6 foot. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
Right. Again, girls don't lie about their height. It seems that the guys do, and like the 5'11s are really 5'9".
Totally. And that makes sense because you have to understand this is the guys are on those dating apps to fuck. Like they're not on there. fuck and figure it out later. That is every guy's, and listen, women might be on there too for that reason. I'm not saying they're not, but I'm saying I know that these guys aren't like for the most part, there's not a guy on there being like, what, swiping going, well, she would be nice to introduce to mom, swipe right. That's not how they're swiping. The swipe is very animalistic. And my encouragement to you is you need to find that inner animal as well. Because I think you need to start swiping with 6'5" in mind. And listen, that cuts down the numbers. That sucks. But like the sucky part about it is like more requirements, less matches. That's just the reality.
Exactly.
And less dopamine. Like part of these apps, the great part is that it feels good to get matches. It kind of feels like you're at the slot machine.
Right.
So like for me, when I hear like, well, I'm talking to these guys, you're not even into these guys. Like they can go fuck themselves. You know?
Right.
Like I'd be there being like, you know, if you could change your bio, I would even put like I don't think there's anything wrong. The only people that get mad at like below 6 feet need not apply are people below 6 feet and you don't want to fuck them anyways.
Right.
So that would be my thought. I want to thank you for coming on. This was such a pleasure. You're our first guest ever on Vent Sesh. This is so cool. Thank you. Do you feel helped? Okay. Goodbye. Listen, we're going to keep it going. If you're here on YouTube, I want you to subscribe to my channel. There's a reason. Everyone is doing things for a reason. Your boy Papa JT is doing this for a reason as well. This is free. I'm taking part of my Sunday night. So are you. Get subscribed to the channel. Monday through Friday, I am putting videos on YouTube. Monday through Friday, I'm putting videos on YouTube. That is every single weekday. I'm putting up full episodes of the podcast. I'm putting up old clips. I'm going to be putting up stand-up clips next week. So, and if you are sitting at home being like, and you've had a couple beers, the Zoom link is in the description of the show on YouTube. So if you want to join me, you can. This is live. Live, people. You don't know what's going to happen. Ooh. Look at it. This is crazy. Look at it. I got to train. All I'm saying is that you can join me, and you know, court is in session. You can join me on the Zoom call. Click the Zoom link. We'll bring you right onto the show. Let's go to our next guest. Let's go to our next guest. Hey!
Hi, Jared.
How are you, Amanda?
Good. How are you? How was Cleveland?
Cleveland was a lot of fun. Thank you. The shows, fun town, fun people. But I want to hear about you, Amanda. Where are you coming from? What do you do? What's your sitch? Let's hear it.
I'm from New Jersey. I actually went to your show when you came to New Jersey.
Oh, at the Stress Factory.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Outdoor show. Stress Factory is a great club. Yeah, it was me talking while like a Nissan Sentra beeped behind me.
Yeah. And your papers like flew all over the place.
Yes, because I had notes on stage because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore because we haven't been on stage for about 5 months. But so you had a good time? It was fun?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
I liked your Jewish jokes. They were great.
Thank you. I got some Jew jokes, so sorry, Mom. Now, Amanda, what do you do? What do you do for work?
I'm starting pharmacy school in 2 days to be a pharmacist.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
So what's your sitch? You got a question?
Yes. My question is, I attract the I want you, but I don't want you enough to be in a relationship. So
Cool.
How do I improve myself to attract the latter?
Well, you don't have to improve yourself. I think the perspective's got to change because it's not your fault. These guys just want to fuck and not date. Like that's just they're coming at you with a certain thing. What's the last situation that this kind of happened? You have a specific situation where this came up?
I'd say like my last 2 relationships were like that, where it was a struggle to get them to be boyfriend and girlfriend status.
So give me the last situation. How did you meet this person? And at what point was did the struggle come up? Like, to me, this is about like, where does it hurt? Is it your knee? Is it your arm? Like, where in the relationship are you trying to get them to change their mindset? Because to me, it's got to be. Tell me about your situation before I get into it.
I'd say it was about 3 to 4 months into dating where we're like talking, hanging out a lot. And then it's kind of like, well, what do we do now? Are we going to be serious? Are we going to put a label on this? And that's where they. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and then that's when they start to be like, well, I'm still like hurt over my ex and I don't want to get hurt again. Like that all.
Sure. Guys do the thing where they like mimic emotional moments. I've done this. I'm guilty of it. You'll mimic a thing you've seen on a rom-com to make a woman understand. So you're like, oh, the last one hurt me so much. And it's like, did she buy it? You know, like what I would say to you, what kind of hangouts were you having with these people? Was it dates? Was it, you know, what was the nature of your hangouts? And how are you meeting these guys?
I met the one through a mutual friend, and I met the other one just in passing. We lived in the same apartment building.
What was the first date like for both of these people?
For one of them, it was a group study session with like mutual friends around, and the other one, we wanted to watch a baseball game in the lounge in the building.
Here's the problem, and I'm asking questions to find out. If the first date doesn't, I think this is a theory of mine, but your first date isn't a date, and it's more of like and if it's if the idea of what you guys are getting together for is kind of muddled, like to me, you're in a group study sesh, that's casual. To me, when you're watching a game together, hey, let's go to the lounge. It's very much not an intent. It's not they're not making a intended maneuver. Like to me, like if I'm like, and both of those situations are the same. Those are casual hangouts. Those are not really like, nobody has taken a chance in those two situations. You need people to risk their ego to date you. Like, and I listen, I'm guilty of that. Like, hey, meet me out. There's no risk of me feeling badly when someone doesn't meet me out at 11 p.m. Mm-hmm. You know, there is a risk. If I said to you, hey, I want to do drinks this Tuesday, and you say, no, I don't want to do that. Now, fuck, she's not into me. I don't like me. She doesn't even want to do drinks with me. It has to be. So like I would say, you know, going forward and specific, and these are the last two guys, ask for the thing you want. Did you like these guys? You were looking to be romantic with them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's the answer to the question. And you don't have to change. It's more changing the thing you're asking for and not being afraid to hear that they don't want that. Because I'd rather hear, I don't want to get drinks with you, than 3 months later, oh, the dreams of my ex are coming back to fruition. Like, you know, like, like I would rather, and that's up to you. But like, you know, but I would rather, nah, I'm not down for, because when you say, hey, I'd love to do drinks on Tuesday, and they say, well, what about meeting me in the lounge for a game? Now you know what they're all about. Mm. Now their actions have kind of, oh, okay, you want lounge friend who might hook up with you. Mm-hmm. You don't want date friend, which is cool. I'm just not going to be lounge girl anymore. Mm-hmm. That's kind of my thought there. But Amanda, is that okay? Does that sound good?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you for coming to the show. That's so cool. I really appreciate that.
No, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course, Amanda. Thank you so much. Let's do some more guests. This has been great, Amanda. Thank you. Listen, if you're in YouTube land, Brandon, how are we doing in YouTube land? We got people watching? Oh my God, 380 people. Okay, so listen, people, if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell because it gives you notifications every time I post a video. That is great. I'm also, if you're out there, I'm on Patreon. If you want to put some cash into this situation, $5, Patreon, patreon.com/Jared Freed. Here's what I'm doing on Patreon. Every week, I give three additional podcasts a week. Luxury Lounge, I complain about luxury issues. Friday, I do one more email. It's a longer email that I wouldn't have gotten to on the J Train podcast. I don't do long emails a lot of the time, so that's the place I'm going to do them from now on. Sunday, I do Coffee with J Train. I call it my sad diary. I just sit there and I kind of just go through the notes section of my phone and I shed a tear. This week, I talked about a driver I had in Cleveland who had a very special surprise pet. So if you want to find out who the pet was, go to patreon.com/Jared Freed. 3 extra podcasts a week. What is that? 3 times 4 is 12 podcasts extra a month. Let's go to the next guest. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Can you pronounce your name for me? Because I see it in the corner, but I can't pronounce it.
It's Biana.
Biana. Okay, I didn't want to get. Welcome to the show, Biana. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Look at you. Look like you're in like my dad's office.
It's my dad's office. So.
Okay, I love that. Are you? Where are you from? What do you do? Are you in school? Are you living at home? Look, give me the whole sitch.
Okay, so I'm from Brooklyn, about to graduate college in December. Starting a finance job I really love, and living at home because I don't think it makes sense to move out with like.
You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to explain yourself here. I'm all team live at home. I'm team great finance. You already have the job?
Yeah.
Oh my! I mean, you're living in the driver's seat of life right now. There's a lot of people in the comment section on YouTube that are like, oh. One last semester living at home. You got the world by the neck. I love it. So what else is going on?
I mean, things are pretty good. It's quarantine, so it's like not too much because just to be safe, but just excited to finish school.
Okay, that's great. Where do you go to school?
I go to school at Brooklyn College.
Very good. Love it. Congratulations on the job. What's your question, Biana?
So my question is, how do I approach the beginning stages of dating from when I first start talking to someone through to the first couple of dates to best set myself up for a better outcome and not a ghosting? Like I pretty much exclusively meet people off dating apps and it never goes past a third date. And I'm starting to think the problem might be my approach. Maybe there's no problem, who knows?
Okay.
But I feel like from what other people have told me, they've said that like I'm too straightforward with guys. And I also sleep with them too fast. So they're like, don't do that anymore.
It's interesting because, so give me the last scenario. Do you have the last scenario? What happened?
Yeah. So this was it was like before COVID really started, it was hitting in other countries, but not really in the US yet. So this guy messaged me on Hinge. He was like, this day, this place, like you down, like let's go out. And I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds like a good time.
So hold on, you had no conversation prior to that?
None. He was just like, let's go out. And I was like,
okay,
sure, why not? He seemed normal from his profile, so it was just like, I'll take a chance.
Okay. Go give me the rest of the story.
So we went out for drinks, had a lovely time, and then went back to his place, had sex, and then he mentioned at the start of the date that he was going on a trip to the Middle East like the next week. So I messaged him after the date a couple days later, like, hey, like when are you going to come back from the Middle East? He mentioned that his trip got canceled, so he's around. I expressed interest in going on another date. He said sure. Then he invited me over a couple days later to his place. We had like a movie marathon, hung out, had sex again. And then I didn't mention anything this time. And prior to like the end of me leaving, he seemed really adamant about seeing me again. He was just like, let's go out on like a date, like drinks or dinner, like down to do it next week.
Sure.
I unfortunately got really sick around that time. I don't think it was COVID, but like I wasn't able to see him. And I sent him a message like, hey, like, can we take a rain check? Like, as soon as I'm better, I'll let you know. and he just like he like liked the message, seemingly acknowledged it, and I was like, all right. But by the time I had messaged him back, I was already like, he like had blocked my number, and I never heard from him again.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened, because that's a shitty story. But it happens. I would say the most important part of it to me is, listen, sex quick, sex, waiting for sex, the timeline of someone's sex, to me, and you're young, Bianna, it takes time to figure out your own relationship with sex. I think that's that's an important thing that people don't say. Like, your friend's always going to say, don't do sex too soon. And I understand that thought too. But my thought on that is, like, if you still feel that sex is only going to be had between you and someone that you're going to be with for a while, then it doesn't matter how long you wait. Someone can have sex and leave. So I think, like, to me, when someone says don't have sex too quick, I agree with that for me, like, personally. You have to figure out your own relationship with sex. There's people out there that are like, I like sex. I don't care who it's with. I don't care, as long as we're safe and I'm on the same page as them. First date, we had a great first date, one night. There are people that are on the side of that. I'm not saying to say it's right or wrong is not my place. I think it's figuring out, like, if you said to yourself, hey, this situation with this guy didn't feel great, maybe that's a lesson learned for next time, because you're like, I want to feel better. That's a personal thing. So I understand to me, when you make sex, your feeling, the issue becomes when you make your feelings with sex someone else's responsibility. And that's hard, because no one can read your mind, and they're not going to, in a lot of cases, they're not going to be as careful as you would, because it's not them. So if you make someone else responsible for your sexual feelings, it kind of leads you to bad returns, in my opinion. Okay. The other thing is, him on the dating app just saying, meet me here at this time in this place, to me, that's weird. I don't want to hang out with anybody that I don't know I've had a good interaction with. So it's like, if it's too good to be true, it must not be true. It's like one of those, because, like, to me, this guy that you met is actually, he's very problematic, because he knows women want dates. So he probably spams a bunch of people on Hinge. Here's the date spot. And then whoever's like, oh, you seem nice enough, you looked at your profile, and goes out, he's willing to do the night to get what he wants. And, like, I don't say this to be mean. I'm just saying, like, if we were going to go back and look, like, I look at that and I go, yeah, that's a guy who had a free night, and all of this stuff is at his convenience. The minute you became an inconvenience to him is the minute he blocked and he was like, I'm out, I got what I want. It's kind of like this, like, to me, it's a snake oil salesman, this guy that you met. Like, he came in and he's like, look I got the cool date and dinner and drinks, and I'm going to the Middle East. I'm very highbrow. Like, he sells a story. And I think for you, and it's like, it's not enough to have a good looking profile. To me, I don't want to be an hour with someone where the conversation is a struggle. So, and again, do you listen to the podcast?
I just started the J-Train podcast and you up.
So I don't bring on anyone on J-Train that I don't think I'll have a good time talking to. And that means I got to meet them first. I got to have a conversation. So I think, like, putting in barriers to entry into your life. You are a good person. You have a job. You go to a good college. You got a good family. You're living with them. Someone should be lucky to go on a date with you. So on a dating app especially, hey, they got to come and talk to you and be your type of guy. Like, I think that's a big, to me, that puts, and again, I don't think you can ever, like, get ahead of ghosting. I think the only way to get ahead of ghosting is to meet through family and friends. And because ghosting happens because we have less to be embarrassed about. This guy, we don't even know his name. Like, he has not, how do we even call him out? Do you know his friends? Do you know his family? Like, you can't even talk shit about him to somebody. Like, he had no skin in this game. And I think, like, the way to protect yourself from ghosting in this scenario, it's just an extreme example, is to make people have skin in the game. A friend that they could be embarrassed to tell the story to. A family member. Like, I would never ghost someone my aunt introduced me to. I would sound like a monster. You know, so like my aunt would be like, "What's wrong with you?" So I think it's okay to be choosy, and I think that's in that story it might relate to other things. That would be my advice.
So then should I avoid messaging people first to just make sure that they're like really interested?
No, if that's what feels comfortable to you, but I would say, I think the one thing that a lot of people do on dating apps is they think like, well, I think it's weird, but I don't want to like be a jerk. If you feel like, when that guy messaged you, let's go to a date, did you think that was a little weird?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of odd, but I was just like, it matched the vibe in person. Like he was very like charismatic. So I was like, oh, okay, this fits. But initially when I got the message, I was like, that's kind of weird.
I think we go with the initial gut feeling. That's like, to me, like I heard that, that's weird. And you heard that, that's weird. Oh, but I'll give the weird guy a chance. No. You can be weird and quirky later when I know you and I feel safe. I think like you go with that initial instinct every single time. So like if you message someone first, hey, what's up? How was your night? And they go, come meet me out. I'm out right now. You would go, well, that's weird. And you stop talking to them. I think it's more trusting the gut and less being afraid that because you're a smart person. You're not going to walk, like, I think what you have to, like, you're not going to walk into like some ski, now you've learned from this situation. Like, I think like you see it, acknowledge it, and it's okay. The best part about dating apps is that there's a lot of people on them, especially in New York. And you're going to find someone who's not going to give the weird vibes and is as protective of themselves as you should be of you, But Deanna, thank you so much for coming on. This is fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Are we having a good time? Let me hear you in the comments section. Brandon, are people having fun out there? I know they can't hear you, but I'm trying to get a little bit of a feedback. I'm not watching. I hope. Okay, YouTube, let's hear your comments. If you want to come on, if you have a situation that you want answered, hit that Zoom link. We'll bring you right on. I keep talking to I keep talking to a magical voice, Brandon. That's the producer way backstage. There's a backstage. We put some work into this. We invested some dollars. That's why all of you should come see me on tour. I'm coming to Long Island. I'm going to Philadelphia. These dates are coming up in September. Long Island and Philadelphia, outdoor shows, socially distanced, of course. JaredFreed.com, JaredFreed.com. Let's go to the next guest. Hello.
Hey.
How are you? Leah or Leah?
Actually, none of those. It's Lee.
Oh, Lee. I'm sorry. I saw it in the corner. Lee, welcome to the show. How are you? What's going on?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm a little tired. I drank last night. I'm feeling a little parched. I'm trying to get my water back. Lee, where are you coming from? What do you do?
So I'm actually up in Maine, but I work
Maine?
I know.
Oh, I love Maine. Where in Maine?
Oh, yeah, but I'm up in Portland.
In Portland?
Yeah, hell yeah.
$3 Dewey's?
Oh, my God.
Great bar. I love
So
Portland, Maine. Oh, the brewery capital of the world. There's like 1 million breweries in Portland.
Well, that's new, but yes.
It is a new thing. Yeah, I was in Portland. I opened for Michelle Wolf in Portland, and we went on like a brewery tour. They have breweries, distilleries, and then they have they made a drink out of honey that was like
meadery.
Yes. What is it called?
Oh shit.
Mead.
Like Maine Mead Works, I think.
So
Maine
yeah. so I went there. So it's funny because Mead, do you remember there was a Budweiser campaign where they were like the guy from the olden times, from like the King Richard's times. He's like the pompous asshole, and he's like, "Do you have a good mead?" And I was like, he's kind of representing the craft brew guy. And I said to the guy, so we went to the mead place in Maine, and it was delicious. It's actually delicious. It gets you fucked up. And he said, "Yeah, this is the first ever alcohol. Like, there's like a whole history." And then he goes, I have to ask you a question. Did the Budweiser campaign help you? And he was like, "It's been great." Like I was like, because I wouldn't have known it without that. So let me, sorry to take up your time with what smells? Jess.
Uh-oh.
Are you cooking? Did you light a candle? Oh my God, I thought the house was burning down. Okay.
Can't have that.
I was scared. She's looking at me like I'm a crazy person. If you smell fire, you wonder what's going on. Lee. Also, do not promote another show on my show. Jess just came to tell me about the VMAs. Get out of here. Stay here. This is better. Yeah. Lee, what's your issue? Let's talk.
Yeah, so, okay. Backstory. I'm in Maine, but I live in Brooklyn usually. Work for a basketball team, doing online dating. Quarantine stopped all of that. I'm so bored. The apps are not fun. I have my Hinge set to Maine, which is where I am now, but like it's slim pickings up here.
Yeah, so, they're like, come drive to Bangor. And you're like, I'm not driving 6 hours. You could drive for 6 hours and still be in Maine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the same distance from here to the top of Maine to my apartment in Brooklyn. So why am I going to do that?
Brutal. Okay.
So I'm like at my wit's end, and I had a panic and was like, okay, I'm 30. So what do I do? Like, running out of time. Corona is just making me panic.
So Lee, let me ask you, where are you living, with family?
Yeah, with family for now. Yeah.
Okay. Your job, do you still have your job, or is that?
I do. We're good. Yep.
And you're good. Like, job secure?
Job is secure. Not going back in person anytime soon, but job is secure.
How about your apartment in New York? Are you still paying for it?
Still paying for it.
Okay. Where did you go? Where did you go to college?
I went to undergrad up here at University of Southern Maine, but did grad school down in New York.
Where are your friends? Where are they at?
We're scattered. Got a handful work friends still in Brooklyn, and then other friends that are up here. Some are in California. We're all over the place. Texas.
Sure. So I'm going to give you a couple ideas, and some of them involve financial chances, but you have a job, you're working remotely. Like, what's keeping you in Maine? I understand, like, free living.
Yeah. I mean, the apartment situation in Brooklyn is not ideal. The roommates are not great. And honestly, like, a little terrified of the Corona situation. Like,
sure.
Not finding anyone on the apps that's even worth like a video chat. So no one is worth like a social distance date at that point.
Of course.
You know?
But my thing is the dating stuff, like, that's out here. Like, let's agree. I agree with you. That's fucking brutal. Maine, slim pickings. I hear you. Like, the idea of matching with someone in Casco and then being like, I gotta drive to Sebago Lake to go on a date. Like, that would be fucking horrible. Like, and Portland, if someone, I know that like Maine did like huge tax benefits to get people to move there to work. So I'm assuming a lot of those people are like, goodbye, and fled town because they don't have to go into an office anymore in the same way that you went from. So like, as far as like the young people there, like Maine might not be it. So my thing is, I would start, sometimes it feels like a problem is like 7,000 problems at once. What I would say to you is there's opportunity in what's going on right now. I would first start with my New York apartment, and I would find any way to get out of that lease. I would do whatever I could to like talk to the owner, or to get that reduced. People are doing deals right now. All these people that own places are afraid of losing tenants. Whatever you can do to find found money. That would be my suggestion. Okay, let's free up some change in the pocket.
For sure.
And so I would start with that rent, because let's get rid of that hanging over our head that we're not even using. You said you don't like your roommates, right?
No, they suck.
Yeah, they suck. Fuck them. Let's fuck them over or you sublease. I would like fit where there's a will. You can always find a New York City apartment when you come back. That is like, and especially right now with all these people leaving. So like, you could probably come back at a cheaper price than you came. So like, to me, that is, now we're figuring out the money situation. Okay, we start with that. Then I would find a couple of like OKPs, original key players, a couple of good friends that are as kind of disenchanted with life as you are. And I would say to them, let's pick a place on the map. Let's pick a place we would never live. You are young, mobile, and you're not attached to anything. Let's find a place and let's do a month. Just a month. And again, you can look at the numbers, you can look at the coronavirus numbers, find a place that is the most. But I will say this. I traveled 50 weeks last year. Every city I went to had a section that, and I'm 35, so I think our sensibilities are probably similar as far as the things we want in a livable city. Every city had that section. Like I went to Tampa, they had that one section where they had, outlets at the bar and you could plug in your phone. Like those are like little things that like I like seeing. So like I was just in Cleveland. There's a part of I'm not telling you to move to Cleveland, but I'm saying I have a friend whose kid was going back to college, and I was like, if I was your kid, and the kid was going to do his college from his apartment because they weren't even allowed on campus, but they just wanted to be around campus, which I totally understand. Why wouldn't a sophomore in college who's doing remote working go to Portland, Oregon? Let's go to like Seattle. Let's live where the Goonies were living. Let's do something a little cool and adventurous. Like we all say we like adventure, we like this. That would be me, because then new crop of dudes. You got two friends that you can. These are again easier for me to say than to do.
Yeah. So am I dishonest then if like I take my Hinge and like drop it in Denver for 3 days while I'm hanging out in Portland? Like what's the harm in that?
Why not? Maybe that's a great way to test out cities to choose for you and your friends.
Great.
Hey, like if you and your friends, I would say if you and like two friends are like, let's all make our hit. Like, let's imagine it. That's a fun night with a couple friends on a Zoom call. Let's have some wine and let's all swipe Tinder in Denver, Colorado. And let's do that. Like that should be it. And then that can get you guys to maybe the next city. Start with the rent, then start dropping a pin, then let's get out of Maine. Thank you for coming on, lady.
Thank you.
Let's go to the next guest. This has been, are we having fun? Are we having a good time or what? I'm enjoying myself. Hey, I know a lot of you listen to the podcast, but I do stand up. I've been doing it for a decade now. I think it's going okay. I do shows all over the country. I have an album that's out that you can listen to right now. Go on iTunes. And if you have a subscription to a listening service, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is, you can look up my name. The album is waiting for you. It's a stand-up album. I taped it in New York. Let's go to the next guest. What's up?
Hey, Jared. How you doing, man?
Christian, how are you, man?
Good. Yourself?
I'm doing well. I love your apartment. It looks like it looks like an Airbnb that I just got to.
Well, thank you for that. This Airbnb is called I'm cheap and staying at my parents' house until I can go back to my apartment downtown in Detroit. So
I love it. I love it. Where are you right now? Where are you and what do you do?
So right now I'm like just outside of Detroit, like 20, 30 miles north, and like the
Show me on the hand.
Show you
So
on
you're
the hand. Show
right
you
here.
Like, yeah, right here. Well, you were in Detroit like last year. I was at that live show, the UF show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Thank you, man. I'm familiar with the, my mom grew up in Southfield, so I'm familiar with the greater Detroit area.
Yeah,
so you're like between Detroit and Ann Arbor.
No, I'm like Southfield is like 4 miles away though. But like, yeah, we're so like I'm in Bloomfield. Southfield is like 4 miles south. Like if you just go down Woodward, I mean, you're gonna pass all this. It's a straight line.
Go down Woodward. These are all street names I've heard before. What's going on? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. So I think I have some easier layup type questions compared to the other listeners. Just maybe it's because I'm a dude or stupid, either or. So I just got out of a 5-year relationship with my girlfriend. It was mutual. It was for the best. I mean, we were long distance for 4 out of the 5. It was a lot of comfort, no passion, and some other small issues. And my just question is like, wasn't really big into the apps like in 2015 when I was single. And I'm kind of thinking like maybe wait 6 to 12 months, like until I get back into the dating scene. Wanted to know just like your thoughts on that. Cause it's like, we're in a global pandemic. It's like, what's the rush? You know, like
it's got, we're in a global pandemic. What's the rush? To me, you know, I think what you're doing, there's no rush.
Mm-hmm.
The apps are looked at differently. The problem with the dating apps is that everyone is on them for very different reasons.
Right.
So if you were on there and you're like, what's the rush? But you're on there, someone could meet you and be like, I met this great guy. And you're going, yeah, I just go on it while I take a shit because it passes the time and it gives me something to do.
Exactly.
So I think what you have to do is figure out, there's no too early. As long as you're broken up, there's no too early to get on the apps. I don't think, I think worrying about your ex and them seeing you, that's their problem at this point because you've broken up. You've had a mutual breakup, as you said. So I know that can weigh on people where they're like, what's the correct? If you're broken up, you can get on today, you can get on tomorrow, it doesn't matter. I think someone in the comments wants to set you up with a friend.
Cool.
Okay, so cool. See, look, but are you? The thing is, it doesn't sound like you're ready. Are you ready to date?
You know, I'm like still figuring it out. I kind of want to just work on myself and not rush into it. You know, it wasn't like a bad breakup. Like no one cheated on each other or anything, but it kind of just made me reflect and want to work on myself and just say like, hey, you've come a long way, but you still got a little bit more to go. And I know I also have friends who are single in Chicago and New York, and they're just like, you know, they're treating it like a video game, the dating apps. And it's kind of like, I get that. You're right. Some people are on the toilet swiping and other people are like super serious. And I'm like, I don't think I'm either of those right now. It's kind of just like, maybe I'm doing that because everyone else is supposed to be doing it, you know?
Well, I would say to you also, like, sometimes it's better to not know. Like, sometimes it's better to like not know how an app goes with your brain. Like there's a piece of me that looks at you and it's like, you haven't been ruined by the dating apps yet, which is actually like a good thing. Like you're not using it to like get some sort of ego boost out of it. Like you don't even know what it's like watching a child. Like a child doesn't know what it's like to try, you know, chocolate. So before they've had chocolate, they're not like, I need chocolate because they've never had it. Like, I think right now, like for you, I would take time. How long ago did you guys break up?
Like 2 months ago.
2 months. It's still soon.
Yeah.
Do you have friends in the area that you've been like doing like the socially distanced drinks with, or have you been going out at all?
Socially distanced drinks. It's kind of weird here in Michigan, just like the bars and stuff aren't open. But yeah, socially distanced drinks, Zoom happy hours, all that stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if I were you in that situation, like, I think like, again, the apps are a great distraction. They're fun. They become a little bit they kind of dehumanize the situation. So I think like keeping the situation human as long as possible might be a good thing for you. I mean, you're a good looking dude. You're in a nice town outside of Detroit. There's already someone in the YouTube comments that's looking to set you up with a friend. Christian, you're gonna be A-okay. I think if I were you, I would want to get my sea legs a little bit. Like I would want to like hang out with friends and like, you know, go out and maybe meet people out and see people at, you know, I know bars are tough, but like be in a situation where you get reps talking to women that aren't your girlfriend. The hardest part after a relationship, I used to call it girlfriend confidence. Every guy.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's what, no, well, I was talking with my one buddy about it who, he was recently broken up a year ago, and he was like, I'm showing him like people on Instagram or something. I'm like, yeah, you know, if I was single, I could talk to that person. He's like, wow, that's the boyfriend confidence. And that's like, when you're single, it's going to be really funny if you still feel that same way. And it's like, well, now I'm single. It's like, I can't even like do the imaginary like approach in my head, right? Because it's like, well, stay 6 feet away from me. It's like, cool, I guess I'll just go kick rocks, you know?
Sure. And how do you know how they feel about being approached in this world?
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part is like shaking. Like I remember if I got out of a relationship that first month, I'd be like, hi, I'm Jared. Like I wouldn't even know, like, you know, so it's kind of shaking that, like getting reps of talking to women. That's good for dating apps, but it's also good to like go out with friends, be around company. Like you want, like sometimes like when I do well on stage, it's always easier for me to do well on stage when the audience knows who I am. Yeah. So the same goes for dating and meeting new people. When you're with your friends, you are your most comfortable, best self. So that makes it easier for you to talk to new people because you're surrounded by people who are going to laugh at your jokes and respond to you and take you starting as a good person. So to me, I can't tell you what to do because the apps to me is like a good distraction, but the idea that you haven't done them yet is kind of nice. And I think like digging into friends and meeting people that way and being out with them is a way to like kind of ease back into the dating thing where you could, because when you meet someone out in a bar, you can go, hey, how are you doing? You know, like, how you doing? And then you can go, oh, and they go, let's exchange numbers. And then you can not call and you can be like, hey, it's a little bit easier when it's all on the apps, it becomes meet, talk, phone number, date. Like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's very transactional. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think when you go out in person, it gets you, it's actually more of a fun, like practice than it is over the apps.
And it's also like, it's like the referral thing too. I mean, everything you're saying, it makes sense. It's kind of like how I was going to go about it, but I just had to be like, hey, I mean, you're doing this vent sesh. It's like, well, get in there, dude. Cause you don't want to like be overconfident and be like, what went wrong? But yeah, no, it's kind of like you're playing with house money when you go out with friends, you know, it's like, it's what I say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they, you know, and it's just house money is the best way to put it. You put it the best way because, and there's nothing to lose. I mean, Christian, I don't think you need good luck because you're going to be great. But I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Take it easy.
So listen, this has been such a blast. We're going to do one more. We're going to start doing these more and more. Right, Brandon? They can't hear you, but he just said absolutely. I love this what we got going on right now. I'm having a great time. I hope you are too. YouTube, get subscribed to the channel. I'm going to be popping on here randomly. Like, you don't know. I could come, and we want to do it from different cities. When I'm traveling, I'm in Philly. Let me open up the computer. Let's have a talk. We're going to do one more. I was told this is a juicy, fun one. So let's do one more. Thank you guys for coming. Go subscribe on YouTube. Hello.
Wait, okay. Can you hear us?
I can hear you, Elise. Who's Elise?
That's me.
Hi, Elise, and who are you?
I'm Emily.
This
Hi,
is my
Emily.
Friend. She's here for moral support.
I love it. Thank you guys for coming on.
Of course. We went to a few of your Beach by happy hour earlier in quarantine, and we're gonna come see you in Raleigh.
I love it. I can't wait to come to Raleigh. I'm coming down there. I'm pretty sure I'm still coming. All of these things, we'll figure it out. But I'll be in Raleigh, jaredfreed.com for all my show dates. Elise, and give me your name again, Amy?
Emily.
Emily, I'm sorry. So, okay, Elise and Emily, let's hear it. What's the situation?
Okay, so this summer I broke my leg and I'm now going to physical therapy for like another month or so. And I've been to 2 meetings so far. And there's this boy who is a physical
2 meetings?
Yeah.
Hold on, I've done. Is it AA or is it physical therapy?
No, like 2 sessions, 2 physical therapy sessions.
Okay, because I've done physical therapy, and it's not like, hi, I'm Jared. No. My knee surgery was a week ago. Okay, so no. You go in for a session with like a physical therapist.
Yes,
a one-on-one.
So I have a physical therapist, but they also have these physical therapy assistants, and one of them just graduated just like me, and he's been flirting with me both of the times that I've been. And
love it.
I've been in quarantine for like 3 or 4 months. I'm kind of really rusty on in-person dating, or like how to make a move, or the best way to do it, or like if I should do it at all. So I just want to get your advice on what I should do to make my move. Okay,
so I love this. I love everything about it. I love that he has a great job and a career aspirant. Look at Emily's like, yeah okay. We've already discussed this. We like he makes up the bullet points of a hypothetical good partner that we could pursue. Oh, yeah. I love everything about this. And how has he been flirting with you? Let's go a little deeper.
So my first time going in, he actually worked directly with me, and he tried to make a lot of small talk, asking me about my job, asking me where I was from. Like,
are you guys in Raleigh?
We're in Chapel Hill.
Chapel Hill.
We went to school here, and I just graduated, and she just graduated with me.
Good for you.
And he told me that he just graduated from NC State, which is in Raleigh. So we're the same age. We talked a lot about like his job and my job, and he like stuck with me the whole time. And then my second meeting was this week. Appointment. It was this week. And he wasn't working with me this time, but he like made conscious efforts to like talk to me, ask me about my weekend, ask me how I was doing.
Yeah.
And my only other problem is, since we all have to wear masks, I don't even know what he looks like from like the eyes below. So,
I love it.
Been nice, and I guess his eyes and hair are nice.
Sure. Well, listen. This is actually like a metaphor for life, and it's a metaphor for like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. You've had some great interactions. This guy could be a mass murderer. We don't know, but we know that it's so far so good. That's how I like to live. So far so good. He's a nice guy. He's got a good job. You like his eyes. You like his hair. He could have a teeth full. He could have no teeth. We don't know. But
I tried to find him on LinkedIn and no luck. So
do you know his full name? Have you found him on Instagram?
No, I only know his first name. We did some like hardcore stalking, but to no avail.
You can't find him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know his last name, so maybe if I like asked him next time, like what his last name is, I could do something.
That's tough because that's like on the dating apps. It's like, hey, so what's your last name? Like that's basically like, hey, I'm going to look for you online. I'm going to find out everything about you. Yeah,
exactly.
So let's start with, yes, he's attracted to you based on the story. Mm-hmm. Yes, you're attracted to him in some way based on the story. You want to go out with him, right?
Yeah.
You want to figure this out. My first inclination was to like find him on Instagram and send a follow request. But if we don't have that,
we tried.
We tried. Okay, and I'm sure you guys are better at that than I would be. Women are just fantastic at finding every guy on the planet. Emily's sitting there like, oh, I tried. Okay. So let's go. Okay, you're gonna go back to physical therapy. When's the next appointment?
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday. Okay. It's so the toughest part because I'm thinking of like I'm a self-conscious person. I always easy to give advice. It's harder to take advice because I'm thinking like the move is before you go in, you write on a piece of paper your full name and your phone.
Okay.
And you give it to him, and you slip it to him. That's the move. I understand how hard that is. I would be like trembling to give it to him. Like, I understand. Like, if someone told me that, I would go, you're right. And then I would get there and I'd like sweat so much while holding it that like the name would rub off the page from the sweat on my hand. So I do understand, but I think I would say the way to play it is you go to your physical therapy, and then on your way out, you say to him, hey, if you're around this weekend, I would practice it like it's script. So practice the line because it's going to be hard to do because you're going to be nervous. I would be just as nervous. So if you say like, hey, and have the script ready. I don't know what the script is, but it goes something like, hey, this weekend I'm going out with some friends. Shoot me a text if you're heading out. And and then you hand the number, gotta go, you're sprinting to the door. So you're out of there, no more talk. But like whatever your plan is, so you and Emily, my friend Emily and I, we're going on girls' night. If you're out in the area, and listen, I totally understand that earlier in this vent sesh, I said that we should, if you want dates, get direct dates. This is an indirect date, but I'm counting on you to know that it's an indirect date. This is about hanging out away from physical therapy meetings. You want to get away from that. So you want to get away from like, hi, good to see you. You want away from that house that it lives in. So the advice is, Emily and I are going out. We're going to be going out this weekend. We're always looking to meet new people. Here's my number. Text me if you want to come out.
Good. That's really
boom. And now that is not your first date. That's your first meeting. So that's something to keep in mind. That's not a first date. You made it so fucking easy on him. He could find you on Instagram. He could find you. So you made it incredibly easy for him. You always have to remember how easy you made it for him so that you don't get caught in, okay, now we're just hanging out in this casual way. At that point, you guys hang out. Emily's there. He can bring a friend. Emily, are you single too?
I'm not, but I can.
Whatever. You'll laugh at his friend's jokes for 5 minutes. So Emily's a good wing woman. So you go, or bring other friends too. You could have like, hey, all 4 of us are going out. Whatever it is, the group is out. We're always looking to meet new people. Let me know if you and your friends want to come. Now you've kind of like, I'm just looking to meet new, young, fun people. He might come out with friends, and he might have the fucked up teeth, and his friend is the one you like. I don't know. Like, we don't know. But I think, like, let's keep it, like, this is all very romantic and fun right now, and it's easy to get carried away. That's my my whole, like, message. You slip him the note.
Other question would be, should I play the long game? I'm going for, like, another month or 2, and I'll see him once a week. So I'm wondering if I should wait and keep feeling the vibe or just go straight out and do it.
The vibe is there. We've done vibe. We've been to Vibe Town. It's time. It's time to go to Drinkville. We got to go to Drinkville, USA. We got to go to Group Hang Island. And then from there, maybe you two, like, the best case scenario, he comes with friends, you come with friends, he meets you out. You guys kind of find your way to a corner of a bar, start talking, get to know each other. He starts buying you drinks. You get him a shot. And then you're already like into this whole thing. And then you go, hey, let's do a date. I would love to do just an us 2 date next time you're around. That's how, now I've written the script for the whole thing, but we can only hope, but that's the best case scenario. Yeah. Worst case scenario, he doesn't call and now we move on. And you should hold your head high because, he had the chance. And listen, he can give you an excuse that's like, I can't this weekend, but I'd love to another weekend. Cool, make it happen. And he either makes it happen or he doesn't. But all this cutesy talk at the physical therapy facility is just talk right now. And you're looking to make a move. So this is great. Thank you both for coming on.
Thank
Elise
you.
and Emily. Good luck. I want follow-up. Send it into the J-Train podcast. Everybody, what a pleasure. YouTube land. This is Vent Sesh. We'll do them again. Did you have a good time? Let's see the comment section. hit the comment section, hit the bell, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. That gets you updates whenever I update on YouTube. I'm not putting stuff on YouTube every 5 minutes. It's not like my Twitter account. So I wouldn't expect you to like do it for Twitter, but for here, once a day, you're going to get a little email. It'll be from your Papa JT with a new clip, a new fun thing. I'm always out there just looking to put out good into this world, good videos, fun videos, funny videos. The J Train podcast, the You Up podcast. We got a new one at midnight. Patreon. I got a brand new episode of Coffee with J Train on Patreon, patreon.com/JaredFreed. Go, go, go. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you next time. Boom.